Hello, everyone, and welcome to another book club episode. I'm really excited. If you didn't listen to the previous episode, please go ahead and do so. My guest today is author Steph Nelson, whose novel, the last one out, I read last year and loved it and was obsessed with it. And I was super excited when her newest novel, Don't Ask Why, was coming out. And so I'm very, 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 very glad and thankful that she has agreed to be a guest today. So, Steph, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So we talked about this a little bit in the other episode, but can you tell the audience what is your relationship to reading and do you like to
Oh,
read?
I love to read. Yes, I do love to read. So I'm not as like I read as a kid. I think I said in the other episode, I read Little House
Hmm.
through Judy Bloom, like kind of the little girl books. Um, but I was a very social kid, and so it was hard to um, do more solitary activities. Although I will
Yeah.
say, that we had to do that a lot more in the 80s than people do now. Like we had to entertain ourselves. And so
Hmm.
most kids read books. So I
Hmm.
did too. But then as soon as I got involved in school and friends and stuff, I didn't read as much. I remember reading The Firm by John Grisham and Michael Crichton, I think Jurassic Park, like early 90s, and liking those, but not really like thinking to go read more of their stuff.
Yeah.
And then, as said in the other episode, I was pretty religious through my 20s, especially. Like, I didn't grow up super religious, a little bit, but I went and kind of found even more fundamental religion
Mm.
for myself. And so I didn't read like you didn't, you just read
Yeah.
Christian, the Bible, things like that. Um, so my about when I was like leaving my religious experience, that's when I went back to books and went into like more Pulitzers because again, we talked about
Oh,
this.
interesting. Yeah.
In my mind, I thought, oh, reading means good books, right? Quote unquote
Hmm.
books. And good books are award-winning books in my weird
Of
thinking.
course.
So I love Gilead by Marilynne Robinson and Tinkers by Paul Harding are some of my favorites, kind of in that world.
Hmm.
Um, and it wasn't until I kind of discovered, I mean, I don't know how much, I'm just going to keep answering this question.
Yeah.
Um, I was wanting to get into the gym and I wanted a book that I could read on the elliptical. And so I
Sure.
was like, I can't read Pulitzers on the elliptical. Like it just didn't work. It wasn't
Yeah.
big enough. So I remembered Michael Crichton and I went back to him and worked through his backlist. And kind of from there discovered more of the like genre fiction. So yeah, and then once I discovered genre fiction, like really for myself, I read probably two books at a time now, easily. Yeah, so I went and found like those. So there's three. One, Riley
Okay.
Sager. Riley Sager's
Obviously.
early stuff. Yeah, I
Mhm.
haven't read much of his more recent stuff, but I love Final Girls and like lock every
Every
door.
door. Yeah.
Yes, that one.
The only
Uh,
one left is my favorite of his novels.
oh, good to know. I should
Hmm.
revisit him because it's
You
now
would
it's
love that.
and then from there I kind of pivoted. I either had two veins. I was like either reading horror, like Rachel
Yeah.
Harrison and like a lot of that horror world, or I was reading thriller, which is like Lisa Jewell and
Hmm.
that stuff. So and now
Hmm.
I read all of that. I love it all.
Kind
So
of rapid fire questions for you. So, when do you usually read? During the day, at night?
have like a book on audio that I read
Mm-hmm.
during the day. I go on a like pretty long walk every day and I listen to my audiobook and then I read my Kindle in the evenings before bed.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
sometimes
So that,
I read this at the pool, like I guess
yeah,
I'm kind of reading on and off all day. If I'm super into a book, then you know how it goes.
yeah,
That happens. You just have to
yeah,
read.
yeah. Well, my next rapid fire question was, what is your preferred method of reading?
Oh
Audiobooks,
yeah,
Kindle,
Kindle and audiobook.
paperback?
No, I can't do. I mean, I will, but I hate hardbacks. They're just so hard to hold. But I collect them. I love them. They're pretty, like hardbacks and paperbacks. I definitely buy them, and have them on shelves. But as far as actual functional reading, I definitely prefer for eyeballs, Kindle, and or an audiobook.
Interesting. Okay. And then how far do you get into a book before you put it down, or do you read every book all the way through?
Oh, I'm ruthless because I think because I came to genre fiction so late, I just feel like there's just so much to read.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, also maybe because I'm an author, I don't think anyone owes me a finished book. If you're not into my story, you
Oh,
know what I mean? Like, And so that's kind of how I am as a reader also. I'm like, you kind of have to like sell me. And I expect when I write my books that's I'm writing to that. I'm like, I'm trying to sell them.
Interesting. And for bookmarks, do you fold over the page or do you always use a bookmark if you're reading a paperback?
So I fold pages because again,
Oof.
I know I feel like books are made for readers. And
Mm,
so I'm kind of like, I mean, if I have a bookmark, I will definitely use one, but I
yeah.
also don't have one.
Okay. Yeah.
I use a hair tie sometimes. I would do that before folding the page, but I don't feel bad about folding the page either.
Okay. And do you think the book is always better than the movie?
So,
Okay.
oh,
Do
just
you have an
simply no.
example?
I think, well, gosh, an example. I think there's lots. I mean, let me think. Okay, I don't have one off the top of my head, but I do think that, so I see books and movies, I think a lot of people do two completely separate things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the common theme is story. And so
Yeah.
it's like sometimes I think a story has a better medium with a movie than it does with a
Hmm.
book, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think there's other things at play too. Okay, The Shining, actually, that's a good example. I think
Really? Okay.
look, I love The Shining. The book is so good. But Stanley Kubrick, I don't know, he just nailed it with that movie. So,
Okay. I've been saying recently I saw Project Hail Mary and I
uh-huh.
loved the
So
film.
good.
And I haven't read the book yet, but I'm like, if it's such a solitary experience for the main character, is it better to have seen it than like read it or listened to it? And I think if I read it, it's going to be through audio.
Yes, so that exact same thing. I watched the movie, was obsessed, like love that
Uh-huh.
movie. I have a hard time reading like hard sci-fi, and I don't know how. I think
Mm,
Anywhere is leans a little bit hard sci-fi. Like but I love watching those movies because the
mhm.
stories are good. I have heard that the audio is better than the eyeball versions of that book,
Okay.
which I
Yeah. Are you an active rereader though?
not really.
Okay.
Again, so many books to read, and
Yeah. And so
so
little time.
I do
Yeah.
sometimes though. Yeah, I sometimes will reread.
Okay. And if you start a series, do you feel like you have to finish the whole series?
I can't remember the last time I read a series. If I'm being
Really?
I don't because I don't really read fantasy or sci-fi. I love the
Okay.
movies, same thing. But I don't read those books, and I don't really like read crime procedurals as much. My dad is a
Mm,
retired homicide detective, and so I kind of feel like I grew up on police crime stuff, and it's not as
mm.
interesting to me. My dad tells the coolest stories. And actually,
I
a
bet.
fun fact, Greg Olson, Greg Olson, the author, If You Tell, he wrote the book If You Tell. He writes kind of like
Ooh.
true crime. He interviewed my dad for his next book that's coming out in
Oh
June. So
my
my like
gosh.
main character in his book because it was one of his cases. So that's
Oh,
pretty cool.
that's so cool.
Greg Olson is awesome.
Oh, I love that. How cool. I bet your dad does tell the best
Yeah,
stories.
totally.
Oh.
So that kind of makes it so all the genres that sort of have series, like lean towards series, are not genres that I gravitate toward necessarily. I guess romance, maybe. Sometimes a romance book, you know how they do a character
Mm,
spin, but
yeah.
those could be standalones too. So, but if
Yeah.
I did read series, no, I would not feel, I'd be like, you gotta convince me. I'm not like loyal to you. Like you have to earn it.
Now,
Fair, fair,
so you
fair.
gave us a little bit about the genres that you read. So like thrillers, mysteries, horror, etc. What is it in those genres that you look for or gravitate to when it comes to like tropes or themes or storylines or things like that?
Yeah, I think I just really I like a mystery. So that's
Okay.
beyond just the mystery genre, I think, because horror has mystery, thriller has mystery. I mean, sometimes
Hmm.
romance even has mystery. I just
Yeah.
like there being an element of like something I don't know that I have to figure out. And I'm
Okay.
trope, but that is kind of a common theme. Even in lit fic, like I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She has that stuff
Mm,
too, like a little bit of a mystery.
yeah.
It's a kind of page turny. Like
Yeah.
love that.
Okay. Yeah. So mystery regardless, you like. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it
Oh,
doesn't have to have that. But even even another I love historical fiction. So Kristin Hannah,
okay.
I love her stuff often has mystery.
Yeah.
Or just a couple question marks. It doesn't even have to be the main plot.
Yeah.
There's just some unknowns that I can like kind of
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.